recording, and now we're recording. How's the lighting on me? Is it okay?
Well, it's interesting. I don't see you as speaker. I see the whole class.
Well, then you need to switch your view.
Oh no, I like this. I like watching everybody.
So how's my view?
You look great.
Thank you. I'm checking the lighting.
Your lighting is awesome, but you're just a box like the rest of us.
Damn.
Yeah, I agree, though. It is kind of nice to just see everybody as the class is going and with that grid view. I had a thought the other day watching. I was like, talking about the reruns Brady Bunch here, a little version of that going on.
But I can understand
the faces in the squares and everywhere.
But you have 6 across the top. You've got 6 across the top, and you can scroll through them if you want.
Right.
Yeah.
You can look at everyone across the top and see how they're doing.
I think as far as when you put it online, it's better for you to be
focused.
Yes.
Right.
But in class,
and we never know. We never know when that's going to happen. What's is valuable enough to put up, which they all are, but is for something that is sellable.
Yeah.
Well, I'm here tonight, so if you want to give me a record, I'll record you in speaker view. So if Alan Watts knocks our socks off, I'll send you the video.
As if he wouldn't.
As if you wouldn't, exactly.
Yeah,
he's great. He'd be fun.
He's coming.
Have you done him before, Roxy? Have you had him in?
No, I wish I had.
No.
All the more interesting.
Roxy, I think you would have enjoyed him. I think you guys would have hung out.
Well, guys, I'm getting to know him right now.
Okay. She's gonna go British, you guys.
Oh, I love it.
I don't know if I'll do that, but I've got a brown tweed 3-piece suit and wingtip shoes and I don't know, some kind of. Can you stop talking? Apparently he's ornery.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, he's ornery as shit, and he's also carries a messenger bag or a professor bag.
A satchel, yeah.
Gesundheit?
Satchel.
Satchel.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Have you ever seen him, Roxy, on YouTube or not?
Never heard of the guy. All right, let's get nasty. Let's go. Let's make sure we're all muted. Alan Watts, check. There's a pressing matter, firstly, that we need to clarify. There's a participant in the room, one of the students in the vast gallery, and his name would be Mike. Mike protested an idea of protest. In other words, he brought it to the table of humanity in that idea, and he will protest these ideas in question. What's the deal with the protest? Now, we can be socialists, Roxanne. You need to learn your language, darling. Thank you. About this. So let's all sit around and talk about the activities of human nature in a sociology point of view. And then we can understand that protests are a speaking of an internal drive, a right of something that's wrong with the world, to go against the world. Okay, that's that conversation. How about that, Mike? It's because we can, is another point of view. All right. Stand by for Alan. He was a little bit abrupt, wasn't he? It would seem so, yes. That was Mike. Mike? I don't know you, Mike. Good to meet you, Mike. I don't know you, Mike.
Good to meet you, Alan.
You had an arrogant self of yours come through, Roxanne, to give you the equal vibration of a question. Did you enjoy it?
I'm not, I don't understand exactly what you're asking.
I'm not asking anything except did you enjoy Roxy's idea channeling the arrogant side of vibration of you?
Oh, sure.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you. This is going to be interesting because Roxanne is scared. I wonder why she's scared. New ground. How many of you travel today newly? How many of you travel today oldly? How many of you really care? How many of you seeked? How many of you sought? How many of you conquered? How many of you relaxed? It was interesting to watch you guys at the beginning here. That life does literally pass through you. And it's interesting how you categorize the several thousand ideas in 1 millisecond in your mind. And you labeled everything according to time. Now, these are not my teachings. I'm not interested in this idea. But I guess to stay with the motif of the class and using the idea of this channel's vocabulary, these idea words stand. So Alan Watts, which version do you want, folks? Do you want the professor version, the enlightened version? You want the scared version, the perverted version, the raped version, the constitution of a human life version? Or would you rather have an educational version? What kind of version are you looking for in me today? All of you have differentiations on who you want to call in. Yet there is a whole of it, isn't there? There must be, and some kind of a whole of it. Roxy can't speak like me. She can't be Alan any longer. Because that's not the point anymore. The point was that at one time with Roxanne, to equal the vibration and memorandum of the classroom circumferencing idea together unimed in the idea of what Alan was supposed to be. Roxy's not interested in Alan because Alan's dead. Most certainly he is. He has nothing to do with this class right now, except what you reference in value. So then, of course, it has everything to do with it now, doesn't it? I wonder if you just understood the logistics and the context of the words just spoken. Nothing to do with this class, had two standpoints, and I know you're more, let's say, both of yourselves are aware of how you could have taken that. So now Alan teaches, doesn't he? But Alan is no longer, Alan is me. I would like you all to rummage with me. Could you all do that? Let's go rummaging together. Let's walk over to our, let's say, our pantry, our closet. And I want you to rummage through and find something old. Something you haven't worn in a while. Something that you haven't consumed in the idea of your pantry food. Something in the back, behind, let's say, several idea boxes of pasta. Something back there you forgot about. Pull it out. Everyone pull it out. Pull an old cloth out or an old clothing. Something. It doesn't really matter. And I want you all to label that Alan. Because that's how I am. It's the experience that sits in the back of the closet. And if I don it, it'll definitely fit different, won't it? If I eat it, it'll definitely taste different than what I remembered, won't it? It is fascinating to live in time. It has so much value to the human. It has a value beyond measure, truly. It is the stasis of our existence as the approach of humanity continues. What's going on is current. What has happened is past. What will happen is future. And the current, what's going on, is current only in the now, and then it becomes one of the two in the mind in its immediacy. So nothing really lasts in the now very long, does it? It's quite instant if you really looked at it. Roxy's still uncomfortable. Let's call it concrete. See, when Roxy channels, it starts off kind of thick. The energy slows through the thickness of Roxanne's realignment. It's a little humid here, Roxanne. I can feel it. Mm-hmm. Ah. I understand. So it flows through Roxanne. And as, let's say, water flows through concrete, imagine it now through dirt. Imagine it now in a stream, now into a river. Okay? And that's what this is. Not a realignment, an alignment. So we're having a conversation so she gets to know me a little bit while I'm speaking. So she can be comfortable with the idea. Because she has an expectancy range in the classroom felt right now. Is that not present in the classroom? Everyone here, in one way or the other, knows Alan, whether you've ever viewed him on what is it? YouTube, or in the idea of any kind of interaction of video media matters not. All of you know Alan, of course you do. You've already met him. You went back, some of you, in time to meet Alan. Some of you got to know Alan through an interpretation of Alan, me, co-created before and after now. Different things. So that experiential idea of understanding and reading and interpreting vibration in the ideas of the ribbon effect that, let's say, Roxy has so beautifully labeled. Every now has interlacing ideas of vibration. She just named them ribbons in the different colors, and one of those colors is this kind of green-yellow idea mixed in, and that's expectancy from her and the class. She's adding to it, as well as the one who know Alan. Whether you know him now or not, or choose to say that or not, some of you are open, so you're not applying the idea of adding to that frequency bubble of the now. But I can teach Sly's class because I can channel the class. I am the class. So I know all the words, all the teaching, where you're going, what the idea algorithm is. You know, obviously, the language is the same. You can see that. It's not only Roxanne's vocabulary, it's the class's vocabulary. But we can also play an aspect of change. They're both changing. But as humanity lives in time, as we have aforementioned, there are certain feelings that grow stale. And sometimes the teachings can sound on a little bit long. Kind of like a song should have ended 2 stanzas ago. Same reference. So sometimes we take a break and move ourselves in reality shifts and allow different speakers to come through and teach different modalities and ideas without the idea of going forward in your teachings from the curriculum that is written in the now. Tea. I can't taste it very well. So there's a group discussion that's coming up, and we will discuss this. So who wants to start us out? Because there is a meaning of Alan here tonight, and there's a group discussion about Alan. Not Alan itself, not the life I lived, the persona I stand for. I wonder when you all can realize what you're doing, maybe tonight. And that's not negative. You're not in trouble. Don't live in time. So does anyone want to start us out by blurting in? disrupting the class, not really. You don't feel that way. We're asking.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, it's not with any of your work because I'm not familiar with it, but I was wondering if you could expand upon something that Lester Levinson said when he was here the other night.
Yes.
It was every version of yourself, if you choose, can be forgotten because the identity of awareness is your existence and everything else is the neutrality of potential to assign.
Yes. How is there a question in there?
Going about forgetting about the selves.
Stop trying to forget about the self. You keep reminding yourself about yourselves. I wish I had a chalkboard. Let's get a little bit different tonight. Roxy's more water now. Greetings to the classroom, Alan here. Now, you want to understand how to forget selves. Is that correct?
Yes.
So you got 3 selves particular in your mind you want to forget from the idea of the now, yes?
Yes.
Now, 3 selves to forget. You're talking about them now. Therefore, when your idea of energy follows awareness, if I'm over here looking at this, or I'm over here looking at this, and I'm paying attention to this idea, object, over and over again, and I'm back to my nows, and then I come back to this, and I'm going, oh my God, look at this, it's still here. How is it ever going to go away? You are an Abrahamster, is that correct?
Yes, I have that.
So you understand energy follows awareness, do you not?
Yes.
Okay, then why are you asking a question that's simplicity of that? Maybe it's the self you want to forget that you keep enduring. The one that keeps asking questions is one you want to forget. The one who has no confidence in its own self. That's the one you self. These other selves is what you're pinning your hopes on, my friend. What you need to do is understand in the now, you keep bringing those selves back. This new one over here we call, I don't know what to fucking do with my life. I don't know how to even say it better than that. You keep trying. Do you understand what I just said to you?
Yes.
What was the question you asked? Something that didn't need to be known. Yet you needed to ask it so you can have clarity with the idea of the self that you are trying to release. But you're the one who keeps energizing that self by asking questions and trusting yourself of asking questions and putting your authorities in the hands of others instead of in the hands of the love of you, the I am that we all are, and take a chance on yourself and not know an answer and see what happens. You have to see what's going to happen. Now, again, these is not my teachings. This is the class teachings. You understand in time, you go through the idea wall of fear and you just don't ask the question and just know to forget about selves. I can't talk about the selves because energy follows awareness. So I'm going, look at the refrigerator, look at the refrigerator. You know, so, hang on, wait, refrigerator, huh? Come back to the now, wait, refrigerator, okay. And you keep reminding yourself of the shitty selves that you were, then they don't go away. You have to accept what you have been. Accept that you're a big piece of shit. Accept you fucked up your entire life. Accept all the tragedies that happened to you as I did. Okay? That's how I got clarity further down the road, is I realized that humanity is on a stricken voyage of what you would call a train wreck, a doomsday idea device, always constantly going that we are in constant failure and threat. So I realize this, if I'm always avoiding that, must I continue to avoid it? The answer is yes. Leading me to the ideas of, I focus on something, then I must be that. So I'm focusing on the doom and gloom and the avoidance of the idea and the atrocities of occurrence in my life as in humanity, then do I not get that idea reality in what I call what your awareness goes to? And you guys call it, what the hell do you call it? Energy followed, no, not that one, the other one. Matching vibrational frequencies. That's a little bit wordy for me, but I guess that serves a purpose. So what you're understanding, Brent, is you're playing a vibration. Again, this isn't me teaching. This is your moment, so we use the class's idea, okay? I'm drawing from the class's knowledge. You are validating a self that you want to release, but you cannot. And you are asking Roxy why you cannot, how to do that. And that's the self that you're keeping alive by asking how and what that means. What Lester said stands on its own. It is a blunt instrument, as the class says. It is full of life, it is full of knowledge, and it can talk, speak, breathe, become, pass through you, and offer its wares. But what you do is disrupt it with the idea of the contextual idea of time, adding time into the future, saying, wait a minute, this is going to lead somewhere, and I don't get where it's supposed to lead. So I must question or doubt it or dissect it or wonder about it, when you just won't leave things alone because you like being busy about going around fucking up your reality, because that's how you exist in the frequency of resistance against your nature, the nature of your bliss. So you take your blissful self and you rub up against it with the friction to give you an existence standpoint. Wonderful. Okay, so that's your choice. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Okay. But that's not the idea where we're wanting to go tonight. It is if you were a whole point of view, but this is Alan, and I'm not interested in that stuff because you've done it enough, all of you. Now that's my point of view. You guys do what you want with it. I would like to talk about definitions, ideas of labels, because I know this idea of containment. What do you, Jennifer, you have your hand up. I am sorry, ma'am. You had something to speak about.
It's right on the same thing. It maybe labels. I wanted to know the subtle vibrational difference between expectation and intention. Does that make sense?
Attention is intention. Intention.
Yeah.
Intention is the process of going forward. Expectation is what lies in the forward. That's the subtle differences. You need to intend to go forward, and you are expecting the results in the forward time. Are you following that idea or no?
Yes, so they're both limiting.
Well, of course.
Right, okay.
Okay, this is, again, classroom stuff. You guys know this. I want to talk about understanding meaning.
Okay.
I like meaning. I like drawing meaning. I don't have a board. Can we get a oh, that was quite rude.
An easel.
An easel. Who said that?
Easel.
Who said that?
Mark.
Oh, brilliant, Mark. Thank you.
Yeah.
An easel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
An easel.
I'm bringing back Alan. You got to remember that. It's an old suit. It's a little dusty.
So, Alan, take what Jennifer said, where you went with Brent, and can you talk about the neutrality of expectation and intention as well?
Okay, and intention and algorithm and expectation and algorithm all exist in the same idea. The algorithm of that, the algorithm of that. You must, let's look at this. Let's know that a cat is a cat, a dog is a dog. So intention is intention and expectation is expectation, okay? They are what they are. That's what you need to see. You need to see the simplicity of what it is. That's the definition I want to speak of. When you define something, well, you had a speaker, Ophucus, to talk about the points of view about it. What did you use, Ophucus? You used moxie and salt. Excellent. The salt you put into it. So if your expectancy is full of salt, your vigor and vibration, it is going to become in your idea ribboned frequency what it is as what you put into it with what mind is driving the will into that definition that creates your reality. Now, I'm going to teach you two words here. Expectation and expectancy. Let's air out about this. Expectation is a settling on a diminutive time in a certain idea. or a certain idea in a diminutive time. Better. I want to write. I don't have chalk. Ugh. So I can't write, but I can motion, and maybe that helps. I don't know. We'll find out. So an expectation, given what it is, from a what it is point of view, as discovered by the usage, which is you're the usage of expectation, okay? You create, if you will, expectation. You put your meaning into it. Now, if it is the meaning of what you know as a coveting system that is limited, then the contextual outcome of expectation will give all of the represented results in time back to you as expectation does. What I mean by that, Mark, is if you expect and it doesn't arrive in the space-time now, then you get what expectation brings along: disappointment. Trying again, resetting your goals, diminutive, I failed, and of course, encouragement. It gives encouragements to try again, to try better, to rethink and expand, because expectation is a world that has been labeled and has a bill on your Congress floor, and it's got lots of other little things attached to it. This idea bill going to become a law, and then we're going to add things to it. So expectation went through the idea of Congress, and then it got dependency added to it and a whole bunch of little definitions of dependency. One of them is, of course, failure. And the other one would be that idea of disappointment, of course. Okay? So that's what happened in expectation as it was created from the psyche point of view. You expect your higher self. Since I did this, I'm in a trade mode of expectation. That's where expectation is birthed. Expectation was birthed out of the effort of a certain time that says you will receive if you do this long enough, hard enough, and good enough. I go to school, I get an education, I expect a diploma because that's what they're telling me. That kind of idea. So however expectation is used in the modality, okay, the models that it is, there's many models of expectations on human culture. That self of expectation that you have just donned, the approach to it becomes the reality ribbon that is wrapped into your nows as potential to draw what you guys call your matching realities in as the result of that, if you look at it in time. Of course, it's just another now, and that's class teachings. Okay. Expectancy is that I expect things to be. And I think that's the furthest you would go with that. You can go further, deeper, more defined in this way. I have an idea of a problem. I have to reference your class. My problem says, arrogantly, I have a problem. And I trust that I don't have to solve this problem through my ideas of my mastery work. Okay. Then I have an expectancy that the problem will no longer be and the solution will present itself in effortless joy as your teachers have taught you. That's expectancy. But expectation is more honed, refined, limited, contained, and it is 100% not a standard. It is a potential of a blunt instrument that says expectation, and you take it in and give it your own moxie. You shift it. Now, if you approach expectation from a whole point of view, it's very difficult to sit down. From a whole point of view, your relationship with expectation would be none the latter and none the forward. It would be none. Because I don't see expectations outside of humanity. See, I would like you to explore with me a moment of my current self, viewing a species. And I'm going to call this species Arcturian because that's what their name is in my truth, okay? See? Let's imagine 12 posts in a spaceship that is traveling. It is a medical spaceship traveling. There are 12 posts. I would like you to call them duty stations. Stand a post, using your human terms, okay? So you have a duty station. See, there's no one expecting anyone to be at those posts because there's a unum of that species that all know the nows. There's no intention or expectancy about anything in that. Therefore, since there is none of that and all are one, then everyone's at their post when they need to be doing exactly what they need to do. Now, you can only see that in time and from a human point of view. From the Arcturian point of view, they could never see no one not being there. There's no not being at your post because there's nothing else for them to do that would be different, better, or worse than going to the post. See, that's your measurement system that is hard to equate in an idea of an equum species such as yours once you ascend to be the unum of one. Okay, so that's a reference of expectancy and expectations that are pinned. I expect you to be there. That's your label only bringing in disappointment, failure, betrayal, anger, frustration, many chances to judge someone for failing you as if you're a Hitler, and maybe you are. Then you get to and judge them as they choose and punish them as you will, you mighty God. So that's the idea. Intention, I have to say, would have to be tomorrow. My intention just to stand up was not intention. It was just, Roxy can feel me. I'm not telling her, hey, Roxy, stand up and start writing on the board. There's no intention in the motion. There just is. There just is. Does it need to make sense? You'd be surprised how beautiful you look when you don't try to make sense of your motion, your action, your, what is that, Roxanne? Your appearance. Your appearance. You would be, yes, you would, Jennifer, motionless. Yes, that is Alan. That is Alan's teachings. Excellent. All right, so that for me would sum up the definition vibrations of these. You have to feel intention. Well, I intend to turn you into the police for that. Well, go ahead. But see, they didn't. Now, another aspect, we're going to look at the bills attached to the mighty bill that is everyone's vote. We know we're going to pass this law and we're going to do that. So now let's look at intention. Intention is a fear tactic when used with the circumference of an intention to bring pain and trouble to another. That's a fulfilling of fear, isn't it? I intend to do this. I intend to do something about that. I intend to be arrogant a little bit longer. You're giving your motif, your ounce of salt to someone using intention because that's time, and every human is afraid of time. What's coming is what you're taught to fear. Always. Until you're done with it. And that's all I have to say about that. Or is there anything else? Mark.
No, that was good.
Good on that?
Yes. I'm going to use Jennifer's whale watching experience. So Jennifer made a choice and an intention, and I'm using my words, to go whale watching. So she's on a boat whale watching. And at some point she says, I don't care whether I see a whale or not. She becomes neutral about the whale watching experience.
Yes.
So we can apply this to anything in life about being in life and holding this space of neutrality.
See,
Yeah.
I love definitions. I love definitions. I would like to give you this. Neutrality is natural. Intention to hold it. Now you're using two space-time nows of time added in with disappointment if failure occurs in expectation.
Good.
Yeah, that was brilliant.
Very good.
Oh, yes, that was extraordinary. Go ahead.
So mostly we think of neutrality as this space of, it's kind of blasé, right? We're neutral.
Well, it's not blasé. Oh,
right.
I would have to say it's not blasé. But the human mind, the first thing we see is empty and neutral. Neutrality is all of life, potential. You feel it because you're connected to it. That's the gift that you're remembering, the connection to feeling the neutrality of your own potential for everlasting exploring. And then when you become the now, once again, there is no intention. You are just the sweeping, everlasting, sequential-taneous classroom word idea of what I am and am becoming at the same time. And there's no differentiation because, of course, there's no validation of separating yourself in time through experience. And that's how you create time. Pinpoints, of course. You understand that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's not blasé. It's full of life. It's teeming. Go ahead.
Yeah. And what you just said led me to understand receptivity in a way I never understood it before.
Well, explain it to us. Give us.
Well, it's basically what from my point of view right now, it's what we're here to do. Receptivity and awareness is the highest acknowledgement to creation that we can allow for this expression of it. In a neutral place, which translates into receptivity in the highest way that we can allow for creation to express itself.
Right.
Yeah.
Through you.
Through me, yeah.
Because you said allow. And that's your own, in this idea, not arrogance of separation, that allow, contextualized in that idea of the vibration, the way you use that allow is to allow life to come to me, to pass through me, to be receptive of that. Perfect, Mark.
Yes.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Poof. Poof. Perfect.
Can I just add, I think, Mark, that was brilliant. You just helped me see it as well. And the whole neutrality thing is different for me now. So, I mean, basically, we're going through life rediscovering senses that
long forgotten.
Right, that are long gone. It's the whole honeycomb thing and it's done through, like I want to say, the blasé thing of Mark, and the paradoxes come up where it's just sort of there, where it's all that is, and it's waking up to that or remembering that, which has always been.
Yes, which has always been. But now now, I just noticed a vibration. Okay, Alan teaching here, that vibration you just used. What was the words? All that what been? All that been?
All that all that is.
All that is.
All that has ever been, I think.
Yes, and that's tiring now, isn't it?
Yeah.
You guys are getting tired of what you already know you are. See? There we go. That is a great vibration to feel. You don't care literally about all that is. You all know from a higher standpoint of resolution of your self-worth that you know you are all that is, neutral. And now you're interested, at least intrigued, about letting life pass through you because it's getting fun. You're not convincing yourselves with the ideas of what you can be and remember to be, to discover to be, because you are it. And that's what you've discovered tonight.
Oh, wow.
Are you following me?
Oh, wow.
Yes. See, that's brilliant. I am brilliant. You're right, Joanne. I am extremely brilliant. Let that go. Don't do too much with it. I fucked up shit all the time by doing too much with it, trying to figure it out and bringing it to an end, and then have to back up, unwind it, and let it unravel itself, and then it showed me a whole bunch of shit I didn't see. So perfect.
Okay.
So the next step for me has been, in this state of receptivity, I realize from the whole perspective that we use service as a human word, but service isn't anything near what we really are in terms
of course not.
Our offering to creation, right?
Yes, see, again, class teaching now, you guys are receptors of reference points. Once the reference point in your own relationship to it, who is that, Seth 101? Seth 101, guess what? You know it's tired, leave it alone. Change it. Let it go, Mark. You're right. Service is tiny compared to what you are. I don't even think it would be a blip, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, you have a question. Shagufta. Roxanne says, I see an S with a butterfly.
Yes.
Hi.
So, hi. So I am with awareness. There's a lot of clarity and expansive clarity. So am I measuring that in reference? Because I feel...
You can, but now it's the way you relate to the definition of the action that you are bestowing upon yourself. If it feels relative, full of life, undiscovered, I am expanding, okay, that idea, containment field you put yourself in, there's nothing wrong with that. As if the idea relationship still has life to offer. Once it becomes a truth of dead medicine, in other words, it has no moxie left, it's not servicing you anymore, as Mark put perfectly, you let it go, right?
Right.
Are you following that?
I am, with all clarity.
Okay, there you go. See, we want to know what we are. That's inquisitive of humanity. We have arrogance to say we are not what we know we are. That is the separation. Through trial and error, authority, respect to knowledge, wisdom, philosophicals, cultural ideas expanding into the unum of humanity to offer everyone in this perfect now, being connected, all of the idea of opportunities of humanity's experience. All of your masters, you guys call them, all your cultures, who this and what they did, and everyone attaches as they've always done. This is the right way, this is the right way, this is the right way, this is the right way. And see, that idea action grows tired. It grows tired. You guys have found a new toy. It's called Ascension. It's a very shiny toy, and you guys rub it all the time, okay? Humanity's ascending, okay? It's a thing. It's almost an institution, okay? But as particular ideas, movements, especially this class, you guys look at the context, your relationship, and you grow tired with Ascension, okay? Humanity's not tired of it, but they are playing with it, which is Ascension in and of itself. That relationship to humanity that humanity is relating is repeating that self. They're still taking a new shiny thing, but it's going to grow older quicker. That's why most fads die off quick. And that's why, and this is a good point, you guys don't have bands of decades measured anymore. Why do you have Led Zeppelin still? Rolling Stones still. Pink Floyd still. These ideas, these singers, these bands that are spanning decades, because that was authentic. The bands now are hit or miss, get your thing. Vibration approach of what they're supposed to be in their mind. That's why the humanity grows tired of them so quickly. And now you guys are growing tired of humanity. That's what's happening. So therefore, an exploratory self doesn't necessarily trust the expanse of authority any further. Now, you can see that as your protest results, as Mike brought to the table. You can see that in your interaction and attitude towards the government and your law enforcement facilities, and how you, as a human, are adding, and taking laws away constantly. And the world is speaking up together as we're smart enough to do this on our own. We don't need your authority. So the reliability of trusting the governments and the authority in and of itself is diminishing. It's a bad thing. It was never a bad thing. It was. And what's happening is you guys are, I'm not doing that anymore. You're playing with your own authority. Now,
Vibrational.
Of course. Very, very, very tiny. It's immensely tiny. That's why there are a lot of years left of this ascension, because it's so small. But it's a significant change to allow humanity to protest and not be so quick to get in trouble and not so quick to listen to authority and deem themselves as wrong, because the fundamental vibration about humanity is the individual birthright of creation, now known as a plausible ribbon in the human psyche. So that's why things are changing very quickly, in other words. And relationship with words is one key measure to understand. How you use it is your reality of potential frequency matches. If you keep dulling yourself over the same ground and just don't stop it, why would your ground change?
Right.
It's the simplest formula in the world. If you move yourself with your own authority to trust this mind and all the minds in that mind, trust them all, and choose your self-joy, classroom teaching, self-joy, self-worth, fuck it, this is my answer, and never, to the best of your ability, judge your own actions, Brent, then you can move out of that self, recognize it, and choose not to look at it anymore and talk about it anymore and drag it into your nows like a bad fucking potato.
But even if you're looking at it, it can be neutralized with clarity of understanding. It is just that.
Yes, of course. And then, but yeah, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying about is the repeating of it. Look at it again. Once you, listen, to forget it, to answer Brent's question, to forget the self is no longer validating a self. And then the self will no longer be energized to be remembered in the memorandum of the now of the matching frequencies. But if you're clarifying and understanding, great. But don't do it again unless you want to keep yourself in pride of looking at that and clarifying it with yourself. And that becomes a relationship to a reality. It might be neutral, but you're still keeping it around, which is a sustaining stake that doesn't, let's say, allow reality to pass through you and potential unknowns. You're always going to keep that idea, stake with a ribbon attached to it. That's all of your nows are flowing through you, and that's going to be part of the song.
But so, can I ask, I mean, those selves, I'll take myself for you, Brent, or whoever in this class. That self, basically the one that you're playing with so much that you're keeping alive, you just end up getting so fed up with it that it just, I mean, it has to fizzle away unless you're beating a dead horse. I mean, there comes a point where that self, you're going to look at it and naturally you're going to go, I'm not going to play with that anymore because it's just no longer fun. Right?
Yes.
But us picking it up constantly and playing with it, are we trying to find something new out of it? Or is it that container that's just the same old container that we keep on looking
Okay. Yes. That's where this class is relevant. It's you knowing the relationship. If it feels dead, have the guts to don't play with it. But that's chance on the unknown. Back to the time of humanity scared of tomorrow. So you want to play with what you know because that makes you feel related to reality as worthy. That's the picture of relationship to reality that you always go back to. It's not a problem that you want to get rid of. It's not the ascensions. That's the detail vibration. You go up to the whole vibration, and it's you relating to reality as I don't know if I can let go and become unknown because this is who I am. Now, does that make sense better?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you understand that and that self is growing tired and you know that, that's where the pinnacle choice cannot be made except by the self of worthiness that is always there. It's whether the self of conscience is ready to do that. If it takes this lifetime, great. If it takes another lifetime, great. It doesn't matter how many lifetimes because they're not lifetimes. They're nows. They're experience all now. That's all they are. They're the beauty of what we truly are. Alan speaking here from a big standpoint. It is most certainly outrageously beyond measure what the fuck we are. And I usually don't fuck Roxy through that in there. It's a good word. Okay. So, go ahead.
It feels like ascension is outdated now.
Well, of course it's outdated, but that got you here. Everything's going to be outdated for you guys. You don't want to date yourself, for my God, because then you're adding in time and you're going to have to reference from the date.
So do we have a word?
Use what you will, and then when it doesn't value that relationship, as Mark pointed out, you understand that relationship with that definition, that container, and you use it and something else will be there. But right now you're intending time, and then you only reference what's intendable in time according to what you already know. So you're using the self of separation to understand what's replaceable for ascension. Use ascension, there's nothing wrong with it. Because a lot of people don't know what the hell it is, but it's a small amount who do. And you guys are growing old because you're not interested in ascending. You know what you're interested in? Life. You want to live.
So ascension from the separated self, Jennifer, is a process that is, sometime coming. And ascension from the whole self is what we're doing right now.
Right, and I get that. It just feels as though, that discussion we had, it was a while ago about the cells being a container, and you get to a stage where it just overflows because you're going into the unknown. The container can't hold you anymore. You're going into the unknown. And the unknown is a different word than the container itself. It feels like ascension, even the way that you put it from the fractal and from the whole, is almost like an outdated term. It feels like there's something beyond that.
Okay, then let it come to you, Jen. Right?
Yeah.
That's it. It's the simplest idea. Don't make this an effort because then you're all of a sudden backing into literally a self that evolves with intention. It's
And
not
I guess
neat.
that word.
Go ahead.
The word that came to me is, again, I am.
Well, there you go. To realize you are the I am. Now that one's been resounding since Neville brought it to the table a million different ways. And of course, it's riddled throughout the idea. And all you do is read the Bible and take I am and not I am God outside and flip it over and you become I am God and then you'll know the meaning of the Bible. Ha! Everything changes just because of your approach to it. It's magic.
Well, then there's other reference in other texts that we are.
Yes.
rather than the I, we.
Oh, yeah, but there is that 2 points of view now, okay? Now, I want you to understand when you become, listen very closely, Shagufta, we are is relative for you. But sometimes in the moment, we are is not relative because people don't have any goddamn authority. They have no worth, they have no value in themselves. First, they need to become I am to understand we are. That is an Allen teaching and a process that I discovered in humanity. You got to give someone I am without you judging me so they can become their own breath. Does that make sense, Shagufta?
Actually, it doesn't right now.
Okay, so if you go and be we are, then no one because you understand you're part of the whole. But what about
Correct.
Joe Blow, who's been dumped on his entire life because he's a black person living in a black neighborhood and he can't get a job because he's not white? He has no worth, okay? So you take that guy and you got to give him some you count. I am.
Correct. Okay, got it.
That's the idea. Now, that's a humanistic point of view that will occur in your now. But if you are going to hold on to a truth and your higher self, whole self is speaking a truth to be the conversation, but you want to be a know it God, says, no, I got to get humanity to we, then you're only going to draw them away in preacherhood.
Thank you.
Make sense?
Yes.
Of course we are. The one or all, the all or one, is a reference point. Why did we give you? Why didn't we give you we are? Because you guys couldn't handle it. Humanity couldn't handle it. Class teaching, by the way, of course. It didn't make sense. I am. The one and the one are all. And all are one. So I am God, birthing all of God's. And I am one being birthed by God. That kind of idea. Always look at the relationship. Now, this is a self you guys are unfamiliar with. It's a self that I just spoke of. The one who is down here, been boxed up and trampled on because of the morals, because of the white Puritans that came and created this gorgeous country as a potential and said, if you're not this, you're definitely only that. And you were labeled and crushed and mushed. Okay? And of course, you guys are changing. Okay? Humanity is. I was a part of the change. I understood the change. I understood racism. I understood release. I understood everything that's going on. Okay? None of it's the point. Everything is the realization of life happening. Whole point of view. You want to understand how to make life exponential for yourself, understand your relationship. Bring that self of worthiness to the table. So now that you have that part of the puzzle, here's the next part. You use that discernment self, the one that I learned to get to know, who gave me the potential to be what I am and leave my childhood of trusting the internal voice as well as speaking it, to know that it gave some kind of history as validated. And since I was validated by my then peers in that idea, I gained self-worth. And then that trust, my mind said, use this idea. That one feels better than the thinking idea. Well, I didn't call it thinking then. I just call it the other selves. The other options is more relevant if I go back and use my memory correctly. So my other thoughts, my choices is a better way to say it, I think, Roxanne. Yeah. Okay. And then I got used to trusting myself because I was validated. I need to be validated. I need to have some worth in this world because I was born here unworthy. My worthiness must be remembered somehow. You use humanity. Mark said it. Brilliant, Mark. You wrote it in an email. Roxy read it and fell in love with it, and I'm reading it right now. Embrace your humanity because it is encouched with every tool you need to relate to humanity instead of being an idea of contained in humanity. Excellent. Embrace your humanity. So that relationship with the definitions, with how you feel about the words, is known in this beautiful little mind of yours, and it's a discernment that only speaks one idea truth. I'll explain discernment. Discernment, it's a discernment of spirits, okay? Contextualized in your acts, I believe. You have discerning spirits. You know the differentiations between falsehoods and truths. Now, of course, the Bible made it a little bit more good and bad, godly and evil, okay? But you understand the approach to it. The discernment says Trump, bullshit, truth. And you choose it. Now, I noticed this, and this is an occurrence that seems to be constant to humanity. When you choose that truth, it is most likely the scariest choice possible out of all of your choices. Until your relationship comes the same as mine. I was authenticated enough, and then I had no fear to choose that truth. You guys have to journey as a human. I can taste the olives now. Roxy's water. A nice fresh. I get the picture of a Colorado rapids. It's quite amazing. I wonder if it's about the teachings, or is the teachings about you? Where do you stand on that? Is your reality about something? Or is your reality about you? That's a philosophy that I played with. Never really came up with an answer about that one before I kicked it. Really didn't kick it, I just lost my mind, I guess is the best way to say. I want you to understand that you will understand yourselves in minds. Now, this is a classroom teaching. Sylvester's asking me to bring this to your attention. You will have minds, M-I-N-D-S. Those minds will offer parallel realities of defining authentic selves in memory that equals the quality of the life that you are minding right now. Now, I want you to look at the word I just used. You're minding humanity. Who's minding the kids? Who's minding humanity? You. That's what you're changing. That's what you're relating to now. That's what you're shifting. Now, me, Alan, tell Sly, that was awesome. I didn't write it. I could take credit for it, but I don't need to. Although Alan would have loved that. That would have been something I would have indoctrinated. Put a little wax on it and stamped it. Alan's work. All right, anything else for the class? Oh, come on now. Don't be afraid. Not that you're afraid. Could be pondering, Oxy says. Yeah, very true. I think it swirl around you.
I keep on coming up with the word dissension.
Dissension.
Like descending.
Wow, that's wild, Jennifer. I was just going to say earlier when you made that comment, I've often said to myself, I don't feel it's about ascension. I feel it's about descension. I want to descend. I'm descending here.
Where are you descending to?
Into the
I've
hole.
kind of had is just the.
If it doesn't feel like the hole is up
wholeness
here.
of me in a sense of a higher self or a
right reference point
being expressed here in the human environment.
It doesn't feel like descent. It feels like dissension is all. It's weird. All around us.
I got you. That's why I said about you.
Right.
Yeah.
Got that? That's why I said about you. Is it about the class or is the class about you? Right? About you. So ascension is all around you, right? Jennifer?
Yes.
Okay. So you understand that too, Brian. Descension. But I am polarized. So I'm going up and down. I'm
Right.
wondering if you guys can find a word that offers no directions with the same context of becoming.
Yeah, right. The polarity is a limitation,
Because
essentially.
every Bible buster is going to say, dissension, you're going to hell.
Right. Well, sure. Again, labels and polarity.
Well, yeah, labels are valid.
You come
Labels
back.
is what you guys vibrate to and bring into the now.
You come
Yeah.
back to the I am, the I, which is motionless, but everything.
Expression.
You guys found peripheral.
Stillness of the now.
Louder?
The stillness of the now.
Distillment?
Stillness.
Stillness of
Stillness.
hell.
That's what it. I don't know.
No, that's the start. Let's keep going. It's okay. Omniscending. I don't know what omni means. Tell me what omni means, Brandy. Come online and speak your joy.
It means all places and directions at once.
Okay? So omniscending. I'm going in every direction.
It still has the ascension idea, direction, though.
But there's no place to go.
Yeah.
Bingo. There's better.
There's no
Right.
place to go.
Right.
There's
Omniscending, which gives the idea of sending.
Right.
Now Jennifer goes, wait, that there's no place to go. Bingo. Evolution happening. Notice the relationship. Excellent class. Keep going. You will make me proud.
It's all here and now.
Exactly. Now, now, now.
Yeah.
Here,
It's always here. It's always now. It's always passing through you. You're absolutely still. There is nothing to do. Choose as you choose to.
So the very act of ascending, descending, whatever shows us that we don't have to do any of that.
Of course. Absolutely. Now you're discovering a relationship with a word from a contextual point of view of a referencing idea of a past container. Class teaching. I would have never taught that. Joanne, I haven't heard from you, but I keep talking to you. What's going on?
Nothing. I'm enjoying this tremendously.
Okay.
Enjoying it tremendously.
Excellent. Any more input, questions, bits? Roxy likes to say.
Even the now vibration is different in the sense, not different in negative or positive. It's just is expansive now.
Yes, it's neutrality potential. Then you're feeling you, the fullness, the fulfillment, the fulfilling, everlasting, neutrality.
It really is an unbounded, unbounded field.
Let me ask you a question, Brian. How do you feel about what you just said?
Even that's kind of limiting, I guess.
Bingo.
Yeah. Any kind of trying to label and define.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Now, that would beckon, how the hell do I conversate? What do we do?
Right.
Well, you don't know. See, when you stop being what you are, you will know what you are. Because life can never stop passing through you. And that's the idea of the epiphanies. That's the idea of the language changes, the definition, relationships, everything moving without you moving. Becoming faster, greater, larger, living, vitality, vibrant, moxie and salt, mixing it up, fucking up your reality in every way I can to give you the unknown bliss that you are.
So then, I mean, words are useless and actually hindering. So
wait a minute now. Hang on now. They're not hindering if your approach to them is that of whole. And then more certainly, as the idea of Ophiuchus spoke, you will speak less word and more contextual words that have bigger feelings, bigger meanings, and you will communicate completely different with humanity. That's what's coming. You're not going to give up your words. No. What you're going to do is you're going to redefine them in approach and take the container off and allow the fullness of the word to be offered. Does that make sense, Jennifer?
yeah, so we're changing to basically the vibration of words.
Bingo. Because you're allowing yourself to be the authentic of that. And there's another word instead of this word. The word that's tired and the word that's now. Omniscending. And now it's going to be whatever it's going to be. My son is deaf and we communicate in expression. Of course, Janet. I love that. Expression is priceless. Nonverbal communications. It's a class if you want to take it. It's brilliant.
I have a comment, Alan.
Hello, Mark.
Hi. Really good teaching.
Glad we didn't disappoint today. I always like classes to be fulfilled, to people leave with an idea. Go ahead.
I was in a lackful state, and I was sitting meditating, and I realized that I don't think about my breath unless I'm breathless.
Correct.
And I don't think about my thirst or water unless I'm thirsting.
Yes.
So when I'm thirsting, it's a good feeling for lack of water because I appreciate the water when I'm drinking it.
The experience of it, yes.
Yes. And when I'm breathless, I really appreciate my breath when I'm breathless.
Yes.
So I applied this to the state of lack I was in, and I was going, I've never appreciated this state of lack. Right now, for me, it's a financial thing. And I really appreciated finances, money. Of lackfulness that I was in. Are you
Yes.
following me?
I am following you perfectly.
So this state of polarity of lackfulness literally brought to a very, very deep state of appreciation for something that I didn't have. And I wouldn't have known it unless I didn't have it.
You had to experience it that way to know of the value of it, to let yourself know there's no definition, separation in humanity, as well as creation, to know that all of creation is the perfect of that. What is the perfect of that experience? The experience itself.
Exactly.
Isn't
So
it?
I don't, it seems to fit into this because the next step for me was embracing, the word embracing, all of polarity and understanding that as my God self, Mark, the whole, I can't experience life this way in polarity because I'm not polar. I can't experience the depth of, let's say, abundance because I have no loss. I can't experience the depth of the passion for well-being because I have not, I'm not in any kind of pain or discomfort.
Right.
But we get to do that. I know we've said this in this class, but it just became very, very clear to me.
Very clear to you.
That,
Yeah.
Mark, I got to tell you, when I first got we get to, I was on my balcony and I felt exactly that. I felt the having everything, the only way to be able to get that feeling, and essentially the one that we're all looking for, which is I'm God, by going through the lack of everything. And that's where the I get to turns everything into a neutral state where you shift it and look at it from a different way to, and I'll use this word, ascend to the, oh my God, the thirst when you're really thirsty, the abundance when you have nothing. So for me now, what this class just did to me was make it very palpable feeling wise of understanding what that feeling is like when you die and you realize you are all that is, because that's essentially what we're doing.
Yes.
So when you look at it from that top scope, that wholeness, it's like, and you get out of the details, you understand why we're doing all of this to get to that.
Because of the experience.
Exactly. Each
See,
and every one of them.
see what Mark has discovered here is a little bit deeper, and I'm gonna elaborate a little bit. Man, I do miss my voice. Roxy cannot do any kind of hello, chop chop and all that. No, okay.
What?
So let's understand the relationship that Mark's just discovered. He's discovered another layer, okay, a dimensional layer to what it is. He understands his relationship now. Lackful is what gets him abundance. To explore lack, and now abundance has room to come in, because lack is no longer the vibration of love. In other words, he's loving the lack as he always has. See, that's what a lot of humanity misses, is that what you are, you must love in order to experience it. And that's all you know. You always come here as your full vitality of the will of the now, which you can equate to love. And I'm going to use that word, if you guys would pardon my expression. Alan teaching here. Okay. So that idea, relationship with lack, you love lack, therefore lack stayed. Now that you have the ability, the insight to have another sight, an awareness sight of yourself being lackful, you're exploring lack from the other point of view, which brings lack to the vibration of unconditioned love instead of conditioned contained. And therefore you are in it instead of about it. Now you're becoming about it, abundance will flow in. It's not that you're doing this to get that, because that's a distraction point of view. It's because that'll be the vibrational experience of that particular now. Abundant. Okay, are you following that idea, Mark? Come online with me.
It's perfect. You're yes.
Yes.
Very yeah.
Now, yeah, that's my teaching. I'm proud again. Look at me being proud. Okay, that was it. Roxanne goes, you look like Superman. What the hell was that? I guess I did. Okay, so now you understand your relationship. Now I'm going to do this for some of the classes because this is good. This is good. This is good. When you explore the self that you've been avoiding, you will explore the self of what you are. To know what you are is to relate to it in a vibrational approach of the whole of you. Then the fractal becomes painstakingly apparent as the pain you have been in, unnoticed by the self that was in that as that, instead of about that. And now you come into those selves as about that, and then that self shows you and you experience, because you are in that idea, you experience the pain of it. That's why it hurts so damn much. That's why it hurts so much, because you're afraid to give up that self, Brent Harpy. That's why you cry, because that's what keeps you what you love. But if you explore it and understand it and accept it, instead of keeping it adjacent, obtuse, or let's say left of center, okay, then you will never know that self as the experiential acceptance to be that self from the mind of the whole, which is a completely different vibration. So you encompass that vibration, let it swim about you, fulfill you, pass through you. It is passing through unconditional whole. So the vibration in your conscious mind takes on that view. And to go back to Lester, you will see the same diminutive details, but you will see that action as harmony instead of action of distress. And you will no longer label it. But you cannot deploy that self as that self you are in. I don't know how, I don't know what is this, that's not working. That's the self you need to recognize, and the only way to recognize it is to explore it with full acceptance. And when you know you no longer need to choose that, that's the point. You don't. You don't need to know anymore. I would like to ask the class a rhetorical question. What truly do you need to know? That adds intention, it adds lack, it adds time, it adds outcome, it adds disappointment. It brings in the points of different words with different adjectives attached to them as what we call bills. in Congress again. So you can see, that you don't need to know anything, because you will know in the now. Now, is that possible? Yes. Is it difficult? Extremely. Does it need to be at all moments? Absolutely not. Embrace the human to know the human, and you will relate to humanity as about you. Yes, you will. And that's all I have to say about that.
That was brilliant. Mark, thank you. And Alan, that just unhooked a huge thing for me. That was awesome.
Brilliant. Is there anything else? You're like some of my students, comatose. Sitting up there and gazing. But we all have our minds and we all explore as we choose, and I would encourage that. I would encourage self-exploration. Self-exploration. That doesn't have any sides or directions. Maybe there's something with that. Brandy, self-exploration. To know thyself.
That's a new word for ascension.
Yeah, could be.
Yeah.
Could be. I love what the Time Lords did with peripheral. It's the times that are right here, within your eyesight, but not in front of you and not behind you, but within your range.
Feels like that diagram of the flower of life. I keep on coming back to that. The flower that the petals come in, delve in, and keep on going out.
Yes.
That's what it just feels like, and it gets bigger and bigger. But you have to go inside in order to get it to flourish more.
That's where it's all happening anyway. If you look at the diagram in movement,
Yeah.
it'll keep going. So life will keep passing through the middle, and you are the center of all. You are the center of the universe. You can't slow it down. You just change it. You filter it. It's always doing. And have you guys never not had life? Of course not. See? And now it's passing through this way. Extraordinary. Truly extraordinary. Maybe Roxanne can find an accent to bring me back so I can hear myself talk. I listen to myself a lot because I enjoy my conversations. But obviously I don't have the voice. She has the tone down. She has the tone, but the tempo seems to be a little bit lackful, but that's okay. She's understanding that. It takes a while to get to know a person. Don't be afraid to explore somebody. Anyways, I think this is all I have, unless someone else has a question. I'm not getting anything from Sly, and there's only me here right now, it seems. All of us. That was funny. All right. Well, then I will go about my nows.
Thank you very,
Thank
very
you,
much.
Ellen.
Thank
welcome,
you. Rightio. Toodaloo.
Talio.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's great, Alan.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Cheerio.
Cheerio, and all that.
Yeah, Talio.
Roxy used to say "chup chup" and all that. That's her English.
Better than sling yoke. Bye.
All right, guys. I will see you later. Once again, we shall meet. Oh.
Brilliant, Roxy. Thank
Hi,
you.
guys.
Hi. It was awesome.
How was it?
Back.
That was
Fantastic.
great. Thanks, Roxy. And
So
thanks,
good.
Shagufta, for the suggestion.
Yeah.
Alan has been on my mind for a very long time. I'll tell you, Joanne. And even when you called in Lester, it's like I wanted to say Alan.
Perfect.
Brilliant.
Perfect.
He's a good one.
Now you need to go
Yeah.
and watch a bunch of British shows, Roxy, and work on your British accent.
Work on my accent. Hey, Rod. I watched Doctor Who. I think if I would, go ahead and practice it,
Monty Python. You really
Oh, yeah. There you go.
do Monty Python.
Yeah.
Rose, you look hot. Are you okay, baby?
Something from Alan's era.
Yeah, I get to, right?
That was great. Oh, I love you.
Is it really that hot there? You're 3 hours ahead of you. You got to be. What time is it?
It's going on 4, I think.
Oh, okay. So you're in it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when did Alan live?
He died in 73, I think.
Okay.
1915 to 1973, I think.
Yeah. I didn't bother to look at what happened. That was, when you explore a person, you get to know them, and we shared. And I didn't see what happened to him, but there was something traumatic as a child or something that was ugly in his house. It was ugly.
Watch some of his videos.
Gave him drive. It gave him a lot of drive.
Mm.
It was incredible. I still feel human in there. It's a miracle. It's a miracle.
Yeah, he wrote a lot of books.
Did he?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think his best one, the one he considered himself as the best one, was Nature, Man, and Woman, I believe.
Yeah.
Man and woman.
Yeah, he was actually, a lot of his videos on YouTube I had discovered just a few years ago, and he was probably one of the first and kind of key players in my start of this awakening journey, if you will.
Yeah, he's pretty amazing.
He has a way of speaking, Roxy, that's really, I think you'd like it. I think if you just look him up, he has a way of speaking that really intrigues you.
I think that was he was talking about the tempo there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Better would be cadence.
Yeah.
He just came in and said cadence.
Yeah.
The cadence of his talk.
Yeah, and he's very direct. No fluff. Very direct.
He's very English, and so you assume he's going to be this sort of uptight guy, but it's exactly that. The cadence is where he puts specific focus on different things that he says, where you lean in, because it's fascinating.
Yeah, you lean in, right?
Yeah.
And coupled with a great British accent.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
What's that, Mark?
Did he have a relationship? Ask him if he had a relationship with Edgar Casey. Was he involved in the Casey stuff?
Nothing that he said about it. No connection there. I mean, they were aware of each other, I think.
Yeah. Okay.
Buddhism really influenced him quite a bit too. The idea of Buddhism.
I'm gonna watch him. I'm gonna check him out. Excellent, guys. Everyone good?
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you again, Roxy. Have
Thanks,
a great
Roxy.
weekend.
All right.
Yeah, have a great
everyone.
weekend.
Everyone,
it's the weekend, so
Y'all
we'll see you
enjoy.
Monday. You guys just rock your reality and just see how much you can let life pass through you, right?
Yeah.
Thank you guys. I love you all.
I love you all.
Love you too, Janet. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
Randy,
Have a good
Daniel,
weekend,
thank you.
everyone.
Lydia, thanks for staying up with us. I love you. See you later, Janet. I love you. Michael, Kim, not even there, but I know he's there. Shagufta, Mark, excellent always, as well as Jennifer, input. Joanne, God, he was like saying, Joanne, you want to talk? We're having a conversation. Bring it to the table. But apparently it was like, no, I'm good.
Yeah, I was good. I was just really enjoying it.
Good.
Really enjoying it. Yeah.
All right, Mike. I'll see Mike tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock.
Yeah, 9 your time, right?
Yep. And Brent,
Yep.
I love you
Good.
guys.
Thank you.
And Brian, of course, excellent.
Yeah,
Good night,
thanks.
everyone. I love everyone.
Be well, everyone.
Love
You're
you,
welcome.
Roxy. Take care. Love you all. Bye-bye.
Good weekend.
Love you. Bye-bye.